So I'm Salman Keshavji. I'm the faculty dean of Adams House. So they've been going on for 6 years. They started right before COVID, and then COVID kind of slowed things down. And they're going to come to a close in July of this year, and then people will move in, hopefully in the fall. The logistics of renovating buildings like these, it's actually really special. So you can imagine if you had a building and you were able to just tear it down, you'd be able to build whatever you wanted, right? These are historical buildings, so you can't do that. And in fact, they're not just Harvard buildings and Harvard patrimony, they're actually Cambridge and national patrimony. So it's really complex doing a historical renovation. And one of the things that Harvard did, which I think is really special, is that they kept these buildings very historical. So Claverly, there is all this beautiful wood around here, as you can see. They took down the wood, stripped off, all these years and layers of varnish on it, and put it back up, but kept little details. So for example, if I had carved SK plus MB on it, when they sanded it, they kind of left just the remnant of that, so I could go back, like if I came back as, years later during an alumni event, and I could see that I'd carved it. There's been a focus on details, and there's been a focus on just making sure that this, the things that are irreplaceable, that are part of the historical preservation, are preserved. So I think that's been a really amazing thing. One of the things that these guys have done, the House Renewal people have done that's amazing, is that they've really focused on student spaces. The Coolidge Room, which is one of these beautiful rooms, that's where JFK wrote his thesis. It's got these original Penfield murals on the wall. They refurbished the murals, and they made the room even more beautiful, and they put a little kitchen off to the side so that you could have conferences and stuff. They really tried to make these spaces where students would feel that they're part of history. Westmorly has undergone a really interesting transformation. There were two buildings, and they didn't have access, into the dining hall. You had to come down the stairs and cross over into the dining hall. And so what they did with Westmorly is fascinating. They created a back side to Westmorly so that the A and B buildings join, and then there's a stairwell that goes down into the dining hall from Westmorly. So they've, again, made it accessible, put in, elevators, and made it so that it's basically a square now that connects to the dining hall on two different sides. So that's pretty amazing. The FDR suite is just this amazing treasure as well, right? And the FDR Foundation, led by Michael Weishan and others, they did an incredible job of preserving the wallpaper, making sure, like looking at the pictures, they looked at photographs of the suite and they recreated it. That has been maintained. What's been redone is that the room will now be air conditioned. So they've actually been very careful about choosing the right type of conditioning system, etc., so that it doesn't look obtrusive to, like the historical character of the room. So it will still be maintained as the FDR room, and I think it's actually going to be nicer because in the summer it'll be cooler. When some of the students moved into Russell, one of the students said, "Oh my God, this place is so beautiful." I think it was, we were talking about the Coolidge Room. They said, "This place is so beautiful. I feel like I'm part of something bigger than myself." And I think that when you're studying in these historical spaces, you actually feel like you are part of something bigger, right? And so I think what it does for students is it just creates an incredible environment in which to learn. One of the things in Randolph was that we focused on the written word, because Seamus Heaney was writing poetry in that house. Robert Frost was there, so there's this legacy of the written word. And so you'll notice that there's calligraphy all over the building, different calligraphy from Japan, from China, a variety of different, in Hebrew, in Farsi, a variety of different things, right? The architecture and the art are creating a space where you want to learn. And I think that's what Harvard's all about. And Adams House, it's a beautiful house. It's not built like the other houses where, there's a single courtyard and everyone's around it. It's got a very urban feel. As it's 5 buildings. 3 of them are connected by tunnels, but Apthorp, where I live, is not, and of course, the Claverly Hall is not. What this does is, there's an architectural, historical coherence to it. And I think that's what we're going for, is that, whereas we miss some of the things that the other houses have, we have this really, really deep architectural legacy. Between Westmorly and Russell, as you know, there's the Gold Room. That's been preserved. The Common Room has been redone, and it's going to be just gorgeous. It's going back to its original state. The Lower Common Room and the Upper Common Room. The library is now going to have a front entrance and a back entrance, and is going to be accessible to people with disabilities. Again, there's going to be an elevator that goes up there. And then the ground floor, which used to have some rooms that were right on the street and were uncomfortable for students, that's now changed. Those are going to be like these, there's going to be extended dining space and there's going to be like a workspace, like a boardroom. There's going to be a private dining room. It's still going to have that very classic Adams feel. These buildings are, you know, more than 100 years old, but it will also have like this new feel where you're getting a lot of light and there's a lot of student spaces, which is something that we've lacked in the past. So I'm really excited about it. It's going to be great.